All right, folks, Midge Ure is actually coming in concert this Monday night. Utah very excited about that at the Complex. Those tickets available at thecomplexslc.com and at Smith Hicks outlets. And actually, we've got Midge Ure on the phone. Midge, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk to us this morning. How are we doing today?
We're doing incredibly well. I'm fit and healthy and thoroughly enjoying this tour.
Oh yeah, I mean we're so excited about it. Now to get started, so we just finished up with Christmas. I don't know if hopefully you're not tired of talking about this, but the second best-selling single of all time in the UK is of course Band-Aid. Do They Know It's Christmas? Co-written and produced by you and Bob Geldof, helping out the famine that was going on in Africa at the time. We just wanted to ask, do you have a favorite memory that has stuck with you all these years about that experience? Maybe something that just stood out more than anything else?
I think there was a really petrifying moment where, having spent 4 or 5 days in my studio, I played all the instruments on it and I kind of produced the song. But there was a moment where Bob and I were standing outside the studio in London that we'd asked all the artists to come to do their part. And Bob and I are standing there. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a Sunday morning. It's freezing cold. It's wet. It's miserable. And we're surrounded by microphones and cameras. And neither of us had any idea of if anyone was going to turn up or not. Because we hadn't spoken to an agent or a manager. We spoke directly to the artists.
Right.
And artists, can you believe me, can sometimes be a little flaky. So we hadn't spoken to an adult, someone who might write down where and when we were supposed to be there. So for a moment, it could have been just the Boomtown Rats and Ultravox, and that wouldn't have been much of a record.
Oh, but it just turned out great. Apparently, Boy George, did he have to take a Concorde from New York to get over to get his part recorded?
Well, he forgot about it.
Oh,
no. Everyone's in the studio, and I'm behind the board. I was stuck to the board all day, and Bob was running around, and he cornered John Moss, who's the drummer from Culture Club. He said, "Where's George?" And he said, "Well, I think he's in New York." So Bob found a hotel number for him, woke George up, who said, "Oh, I think I've missed it then." And Bob said, "No, there's a Concorde in 2 hours, get on it."
Right.
And he did. And he turned up at the session about 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, came straight in and sang like an angel, of course.
Oh, of course. With your decades-long career and touring with multiple bands, what was the strangest or funniest thing that you can remember that maybe happened on tour?
Oh, there have been a plethora of things that happened. My first ever time in America, my first ever visit to America, was coming out, helping out the rock band Thin Lizzy. I had just joined Ultravox, but Thin Lizzy lost a guitar player during the tour, and they said, "Can you come out and finish the tour?" So I had never toured on that scale before. And the first night, they booked me into a beautiful hotel. I was in there with all the guys. And when I came down the next morning, they said, "Look, you're looking a bit worse for wear. Your hair's all over the place. You're a bit bedraggled." And I said, "Well, there was no bed in my room, so I just slept on the sofa." And they said, "You idiot, it was a suite." And I hadn't thought that, they would put me in something so salubrious. So next door was the bed and all, the comfort area. And I slept on the sofa, so that's not very clever.
Oh, right. We wanted to know, what was it like working with Sir George Martin on the Ultravox record Quartet? I bet that was a pleasure.
Oh, George Martin was just one of the most wonderful people you could ever hope to meet. Not just an encyclopedic mind of music, but just the loveliest man. When we worked with George, we spent 6 or 7 weeks in London working at his Air Studios. And then we went to the beautiful island of Montserrat in the Caribbean and worked at his studio there. And it was just wonderful. I'd describe them as a cross between your favorite school teacher and your father. It was just so incredibly warm and knowledgeable, and sadly missed. I'm still very close friends with his families, his son and daughter, and his wife.
Right. Yeah. We just unfortunately we lost him earlier last year, I believe. So.
Yeah.
And then over the years, Right. Over the years, have you ever been starstruck by anybody that you've been able to work with? Kind of like how
All the time.
kind of like how I am with you right now. I'm kind of starstruck. So, do you have
Well,
one?
you know what? I think people forget that just about every musician I know, every musician on the planet possibly, they've all been inspired by someone else.
Right.
We're all fans of someone else's music, and it's no exception. You may try and play it cool when you actually meet someone you admire. You may try and tone it down, but inside we are the shaking, gibbering wrecks that everyone is when you meet a hero. There was a moment when, going back to Band Aid, when the video was to be shown for Do They Know It's Christmas for the first time ever on national television in the UK, Bob and I wanted someone with huge gravitas to present this video, to give it the strength, and the impact that we needed. So we invited David Bowie to come and do this for us and present the video. And I booked a very smart restaurant in London, and all the Band Aid Trust were there, the people that we put together to oversee the spending of the funds. And we all sat there, very cool. We've all been in the company of major artists in the past, and of course David turns up with Coco, his assistant, turns up fashionably late. And as he walked into this private room, the dining room, we all stood up like the headmaster had just walked into the room. We all stood to attention because the master had just walked in. So yes, I mean, we all turn into bumbling idiots in the presence of people we respect and admire.
Right. No, I certainly can understand that. So thanks again for taking a few minutes to talk to us. We're very excited to have you back in Salt Lake City. Now, you were here just a couple of years ago with that the retro future tour, right?
Yeah, yes, I was, and I have to say, I was completely blown away by the response that I got when I walked on stage in Salt Lake. It was just incredible. I had no idea that so many people knew the music that I made, and I as I stood there on that stage looking out at the audience, they sang every word of every song. It was just wonderful. So I'm making a concerted effort to come back and perform a little longer this time. The unfortunate thing about those multi-act shows is you only get, half an hour or something to play.
Right.
So we're back with a full set this time.
Oh, very good. We're very excited about that. Once again, folks, this Monday night at the Complex, tickets available at complexslc.com and Smith-Tix outlets. And Midge, once again, thanks so much for chatting with us this morning. We're looking forward to the show on Monday night. We're excited.
Brad, thank you very much for speaking to me, and I'm really looking forward to being there.